It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, on this Masterpiece Friday, I have just one question for all of you. You hungry? You need something to eat? I think I have something for you, at least musically, because supper is ready, my friends. We are going back to Supper's Ready by Genesis, and I am happy that you are with me. The classic side-length song from side 2 of Foxtrot by Genesis, released in the fall of 1972. Of all Genesis discography, for the length of their career, Supper's Ready remains the band's longest recorded tune. Only the short song Horizons, written and performed by Steve Hackett, shares side 2 with Supper's Ready from Foxtrot. So I originally reacted to this song back on May 21st of 2021. It's been more than 2 years. That was episode 141. It was the very first Genesis song that I included on my channel, y'all. At the time, it was my introduction to early Genesis. Since then, I have heard all of Nursery Crime. That's been blocked on YouTube, but it's available on my Patreon. I've just recently done Selling England by the Pound. That's also on my Patreon. We've gotten to the rest of Foxtrot. I've also listened to the entire The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. So I've got a lot of the early Genesis classic stuff now covered. But with everything that I listened to, I want to go back and be reminded of some of these tentpole pieces, these big prog epics, and that's what we're doing on Fridays in July, friends. So for this, we are going back to the song via Seconds Out, their second live album released in 1977. I have it out here in the in a featured spot. And so by the time we get to this live album, The Seconds Out, the lineup of the band is Phil Collins on lead vocals and also on drums and percussion. That's different than before, right? Because Peter Gabriel was our lead vocalist for Foxtrot. Tony Banks is on keyboards, Mike Rutherford is on the bass, Steve Hackett is on guitars, and with them as a touring member of the band is Chester Thompson, also on drums and percussion. After this tour, Steve Hackett left the band to pursue his solo career. I have actually seen Steve Hackett on tour playing some classic Genesis, and that was really fun for me last December. I have had this on vinyl. I actually have 2 copies of it on vinyl, thanks to all of y'all. And I have held off on listening to the Supper's Ready side 3, for such a, an opportunity as this. And I'm ready to get to it, y'all. So the the performance is almost 25 minutes, so we got a long one to get to. But it's a Friday, and I have to have a cocktail with this one, and I hope you join me with your own. I today have pulled out the biggie, y'all. This is my Port Charlotte by Bruichladdich, the Port Charlotte heavily peated Islay single malt whiskey, and it's pretty darn good, y'all. I have my little glass here with the single ice cube, and I'm going to pour a little dram. Just kind of eyeball that. That'll be great. I love this stuff, y'all. It's got such it's got as much for your nose as it does for your taste buds. And I'm going to kind of swirl that around, open it up a little bit, and say cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. Okay, that's good. We're going to get into it, friends. So, Supper's Ready from Seconds Out. I have not yet heard this version of it. I did go back and watch snippets of my original reaction just so I could figure out just how in the dark I was, and I was quite in the dark. For this time, I have pulled some of Peter's explanations that were put in their tour program in 1972 and 73, so that the audience could know what the hell is going on during this song. So I may stop and start and share some of Peter's thoughts as we go, but strap in, everybody. This is going to be a fun ride. Supper is Ready from Genesis. Off we go. Hey. Thank you, Phil. This will be my first time hearing Phil sing it. And yeah, just like the original, they dive right in, no intro. So that sounds like 5. And then it goes somewhere completely different. That's a B. And they go to B flat. It's an amazing little move there. C, G minor. I read that they had in this section 3 different people playing acoustic guitars. Steve's on guitar, obviously, but Mike and Tony are also playing guitars. Chromatic third shift to get back to that A minor chord. Works really well. So in this opening section, we've got 2 lovers here. It's called Lover's Leap. It's been a long time. It's really soft in my ears. Thinking it's going to get big here in a second. New key. I'm going to stop it for a second. So, in Lover's Leap, we've got, from Peter's program notes here, 2 lovers are lost in each other's eyes and they find themselves transformed into the bodies of another male and female. So, off the bat, it's supernatural or it's suspending rational belief, right? We're going into uncharted territory or a voyage of discovery in the mind, right? In our imagination. And it sets up this sort of shared dream sequence, and we are on this adventure of discovery. It's a really interesting way to set up a song. Off we go. It's not even really a song, it's a pastiche of all these different sections that they put together that becomes Supper's Ready. I think this is all just over D minor. Tony back on a keyboard. And it just sets up, I think, this dream world, right? That they are no longer in. Sorry, that they are now in. they're no longer in reality. From D down to G. Flat 2. To the 5. Is that A? That A minor? The Guaranteed Eternal Sanctuary Man section. I know a farmer who looks after the farm. And they're staying in A, I think. They add some sharps, they land in A, where they have been, but now it's A major. Nice. Can't you see he has fooled you all? All. Supersonic scientist. Nice. So, hang on a second. Stop. I want to share with you Peter's thoughts about this section. So this is section 2, the guaranteed eternal sanctuary man. And he says, our lovers find themselves in a town dominated by a benevolent farmer. We heard that. I know a farmer who looks after the farm. With water clear, he cares for all his harvest. Nice. So they find a benevolent farmer and the head of a highly disciplined scientific religion. I wonder if they're talking about Scientology. This head of this religion is known as the guaranteed eternal sanctuary man, and he claims to have a secret new ingredient for fighting fires. This is a falsehood, an untruth, a whopper, and a taradiddle, or to put it in clearer terms, a lie. So, this sanctuary man is a swindler, and he's looking to fool us. Let's keep going. 6 flat 7. We will rock you, little snake. We will keep you snug and warm. Okay. So we get introduced to that person. I'm going to stop it again. I know I hardly ever stop these, y'all, but I barely was able to follow the story before, and when I found some of Peter's notes, I thought it would help me and us. So for this next section that's called Ichnaten and Itzakon and their band of merry men, he says, our lovers see Ichnaten, Itzakon, and their soldiers waiting to be summoned forth from the ground. At the sanctuary man's command, they surge up from the earth to attack all of those without an up-to-date eternal life license, which was available at the religion's head office. So they're going after the people that did not sign up for what the sanctuary man was peddling, and that's where we find ourselves here. Off we go. Melody from the beginning. We walked across the field to see children of the West. We saw a host of dark-skinned warriors standing still below the ground, waiting for battle. Fight's begun. Killing foe for peace. I'm remembering snippets of this, so I'm really glad I'm going back to it. And And they're giving me a wonderful potion because I cannot contain my emotion. A sedative? And even though I'm feeling good, something tells me I better activate my prayer capsule. Meaning it's like, this is helpful, but I don't think it's going to be helpful for long. Guitar solo. Take it, Steve. Tony's so good on that stuff. Today is a day to celebrate the foe have met their fate. The order for rejoicing and dancing has come from our warlord. So who's the warlord? Is it Ignatin, Itzakon, or is it the Sanctuary Man? Drumming is pretty awesome, too. 5, 3, 1. That's a flat 3 to 1. Chromatic third. F major to D major. They both have an A in them, but there's a difference of the F to the F sharp, right? It's a great way to lengthen this and then meld it into what comes next, which is called How Dare I Be So Beautiful. Okay, this section. Hang on a second. So our intrepid heroes investigate the battle's aftermath. So this is after the battle, and discover a lone person who seems obsessed by his own image. They then witness his unusual transformation, and they get pulled into their own reflections in the water. I think they're talking about ego. How dare I be so beautiful? Let's keep going. Here we go. Really interesting suspended chords. It's a major 7th chord. Really soft. Effective in concert. He's been stabbed, human bacon, by some butchery tool. He is you. I don't get that. Just in their ego, in his ego. We watch in reverence as Narcissus is turned into a flower. That calls on Greek mythology. And we're about to get into Willow Farm. I'm going to stop it before we get there. Hang on. Okay. This is wonderful, friends. I can't believe this is live. So Willow Farm is the 5th section, and it comes next. And this is what Peter says about it. He says, as they climb out of the pool of water, They're now in a different existence. So we're going from reality to reality here. And he says, amid a myriad of bright colors filled with many objects, plants, animals, and people, life flows freely and everyone is mindlessly busy. A whistle blows at random, causing everything to be instantly changed. So this one is, I think, from the mind of Peter, this section, and it's called Willow Farm. Here we go. A flower. Yeah, it's the Monty Python section. As I recall. Amazing words. The egg was a bird. I'm going to change you to a human being. I think I said in my original, this reminds me of For the Benefit of Mr. Kite.
Everyone, we're changing everyone. You name them all, we've had them here. But the real stars are still to appear.
Lands. There's the whistle. All change.
Feel your body melt.
Feel your body melt. So they're transforming into something else. The reality is changing around them. Completely different area. I think Chester is the one doing most of the playing during these sections where Phil is singing. I can't imagine Phil singing this and playing this well by himself. Did not go where I thought it was going to go. I think that's going to be the end of that section. The next one is called Apocalypse in 9/8. Co-starring the delicious talents of Gabble Ratchet. Down a half step. Suspended. Minor, down a whole step. Really great pacing. Okay, hang on a second. So, Peter says, in this section, Apocalypse in 9/8, our lovers become seeds in the soil, right? They were talking about you're under the soil, you're deep in the soil, right? So they become seeds in the soil, recognizing other seeds as people from their original world. As they wait for spring, they return to their world to see the apocalypse of St. John in full progress. The 7 trumpeters cause a sensation, and Pythagoras is happy because he gets the exact right amount of milk and honey on his cornflakes. Peter, what were you on, man? Makes me want to listen. It's like, okay, so here's what we're in for. Off we go. Boy, the soft sections are really soft, aren't they? And Steve has such a great touch on his guitar. I think I remember the flute solo, but with Peter not there, I wonder if this is being played by Tony on a synthesizer. I think it is. Dragons are coming out of the sea. Yeah, this is right out of Revelation, y'all. Brings down fire from the skies. It's in 9/8, but it's not in a triple meter. It's not in 3. It's in an asymmetrical 4. Pretty sure. Because most of the beats are just 1 and 2 and 3 and, right? Most of them are beats of 2, and then you've got that one little hitch beat of 3 that makes it 9/8 instead of 8/8, I think. However they're doing it, it's freaking cool. A lot of the meter is hidden by what the percussionists are doing. How amazing would it be to hear this? Watch it live. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, and 4, and Satan is not by himself. It's getting out the marrow in your backbone. Trumpeters are playing sweet rock and roll. He's going to blow right down into your soul. Turns major. Get it, Phil. Great vocals. Cool. a B chord. Crowd's like, major.
And it's hey, babe, with your darling eyes so blue. Hey, my baby, don't you know our love's true? I'm in so far from here, far from your love arms.
I've been away for a while in a discovery of my mind, but now I'm back. It's gonna work out fine. It's gonna be okay. I'm here. I think I'm done with my trip. This is cool, by the way. Slower tempo of this in the reprise, it just lets everything sit just a little more solidly. Listen to the bass pedals too. We've finally been free to get back home. As the germ in a seed grows, we've finally been free to get back home. I love it. Above all else, an egg is an egg. X equals X. This is the supper of the mighty one, Lord of Lords, King of Kings. To take them to the New Jerusalem. I need to remember to listen to this when I want to work out on my air drums. So if I was air drumming this whole time, I'd have to go into rehab. As I remember, the original faded out. Are they going to fade this out live? Subtonic. And that's how they're going to end it there. They got to the one chord and they really backed off the volume until they landed on that last one chord, and then they let the whole thing fade out. That's an interesting choice to end that, to make it as like it's still ongoing, even when we do it in concert. You know, Seconds Out. I have listened to the first two sides of that quite a bit, but I held off on side 3 just for this occasion, and I'm glad that I did. That was fun. That was fun. I think I in having some of what Peter put in the program notes for the early tours on this, it helped me to have a grounding in what really was going on behind the scenes of these quite kind of opaque lyrics, you know? So it's a song. Yeah, it's a big song, but it's also a pastiche of other songs. They had success with the musical box, which was a longer composition for them on the previous album, and they ended up assembling Supper's Ready as much as composing it. The opening and closing sections were taken from a Tony Bates piece that he had written years earlier, I think when he was in school. The Guaranteed Eternal Sanctuary Man was another piece by Tony. Willow Farm, like I said, was a creation of Peter's. And they had decided, I think, to stick it right in the middle of this piece for nothing else, just to give it a contrasting mood and a contrasting bass line. True, a lot of this has been ascending bass lines. That was a descending bass line to get there as well. And then Apocalypse and 9/8 was from Tony and Mike. Really, really fascinating stuff. Seconds Out. I wonder if the sentimental feelings around this particular live album are there because it's the last we get of the classic lineup. This classic lineup from Foxtrot would only last through The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, because that's when Peter left, right? And then after the tour that included this performance, Steve Hackett left the band and left only 3 core members, who, by the way, did a great job soldiering on with some great music for many years. In fact, my love of Genesis comes from the trio from the 80s. That's where I first learned about and enjoyed their music. But it's the quintet of these guys from back in the mid 70s is quite profound. It's these early classic albums from Genesis that, as I have observed, garner much. These early albums garner much of the passion and love from Genesis fans. I don't get a lot of people clamoring for The Land of Confusion or I Can't Dance. They're clamoring for Firth the Fifth and The Musical Box and The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway and Carpet Crawlers and Supper's Ready and all of these early classic tunes from the band. Genesis, as it has been up until quite recently as they were touring, still included many of these early songs in their lists. And I got to see Steve Hackett live last December, and he put on a wonderful show. And he continues to include some of these classic Genesis songs in his sets, although he hasn't been a member of the band in decades. Peter, though, I don't think has included much of Genesis repertoire. Most of his performing after leaving the band has centered on his solo output, from what I can gather. But 51 years now after Supper's Ready and Foxtrot was released, it still holds up. It's a long listen. It's a weird listen. But it's one that on subsequent listens, you get more and more and more. And it's just a long tune that keeps on giving. It really, really is. It's a fun ride by a really great lineup of musicians. And what can we ask for other than that? Especially on a Friday. Friends, I've got just a little bit of my my whiskey left. Bottoms up, y'all. Man, I love that. That's good stuff. Gonna enjoy that the rest of the weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for being with me on this Masterpiece Friday. Supper's Ready from Seconds Out by Genesis. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.
It's the Daily Doug. Welcome to the Daily Doug. The Daily